We want to talk about the MBTA. It's so important to the city, but in such a sorry state right now, I think we can all agree. New general manager Phil Ing, he says he can turn things around. Are you confident that he can?
Absolutely. I'm always confident that people can do their job if they really dig in and, address the issues. And for the T, the majority of people who ride the T are getting themselves to work. So the concerns and complaints I hear mostly is the recent slowdowns.
Delays.
Students, parents picking up their kid from the, stop 20 a half hour later, or, the infrastructure concerns.
So you think he can address that?
I think he absolutely can.
Let me ask you this. Mayor Wu, she has called for free public transportation. Is that something you support?
So last year when she first got elected, which was a campaign promise, we put in a few. She started a pilot with a few bus lines. They were in my neighborhood. They were coming out of Ashmont Station. I don't think it's sustainable forever unless we find a new source of funding. Right now that was funded through ARPA money, so we were using the federal relief funds for it.
In terms of
ongoing, I think we really would have to look at the whole structure of the MBTA, because there's no way we can sustain that. And there was concerns about which neighborhoods we're getting, so how will we be equitable about which lines are free and which aren't. We could do other things like give more free T-passes at the City Hall employees now get discounts if you need a T-pass.
All right, and I know you've done a lot with recovery. The situation at Mass and Cass, let's talk about that. It also sits at the intersection of substance abuse and mental health. Do you think the city is doing enough there?
I think the people who are on the ground are working as hard as they can. I don't think we have yet figured out how to fix this, and so I'm going to say no, we're not doing enough. But it's not that those in place aren't trying their hardest.
Is it up to the mayor to fix this alone?
Never alone, but it is in our city. So I also take responsibility as an at-large city councilor. I go by at least a couple times a week to see the tents are back. There's concerns about the safety of women and men that are down there.
Are you concerned about going into the summertime?
Absolutely, because with the nice weather, there's always an increase. And what's the plan? I'm hearing, I haven't been invited yet, but there'll be a meeting in a couple weeks to talk like they did last year about their summer plan. We absolutely have to work closely, and we have the Governor Baker, I know, was supportive and did give a lot of state funding, but how do we work closely with the new Governor Healy and others to address, because it's a regional issue, it's a statewide issue. We know that a majority of the people struggling down there are not Boston residents, but that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because the residents who live there, the school children, the business owners are suffering also. So I always say that yes, we have to be supportive of those who are living on the streets down there, but we cannot ignore that the neighborhoods around there are suffering also.
All right, well, let's finish up with a lightning round. We are looking for some quick answers here.
I'll be quick.
We're going to start. Should the city drop the residency requirement? There's a lot of open jobs, including a lot of open police officer jobs.
If it's a yes, no, I'm going to say no. I think we have enough talent. It's training our young children or adults also. These jobs aren't just for young kids. So I think that ties into workforce development in our BPS system that needs to do a better job.
Would you consider running for mayor?
Right now, I'm happy being a city councilor, but always in my life, I have never counted out anything. I was a kindergarten teacher for many years and never thought I would run for city council, so I don't know what my future brings.
All right. Well, the city has hired a nightlife czar. Good idea, bad idea?
So, I'm a person in recovery. Nightlife isn't really my thing. I don't know if it's necessary to have a completely, new department. I do hear, though, a lot of people feel that our city shuts down too early, our liquor licenses don't run long. I'm all for fun, but I don't know if it was necessary to make a whole new department in it. And I haven't met her yet, but I would like to talk about where she feels like the support she'll give to the downtown and other places.
All right, and finally, Boston accent. Do you flaunt it or do you hide it?
I never hide it. I don't know if I have. I think my daughter definitely has a stronger one than I do, but I don't ever hide it. I just talk.
All right. Our thanks again to Boston City Councilor Erin Murphy. Thanks for being here.